Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard this on YouTube, you might hear this on this channel first. Biden will be impeached in 2023, going into 2024. Almost certainly, Republicans will follow the same timeline as the impeachment of former President Trump, which was based on nothing but hearsay and gossip. There was zero evidence that he wanted to withhold any military assistance because they got the military assistance. Trump is the only person in the history of the planet who was accused of withholding military aid and the military aid eventually got to the country. He was the only person accused of that type of behavior when the behavior led to the opposite of what he was accused of. The country literally received military aid, lethal aid, in a manner that President Obama didn't give. Democrats did not give military aid to that country. Trump did, yet he was still impeached, even though the president of that country said, oh, that never happened. He never tried to make us do anything. The president of that country being invaded under Biden's watch, with Hunter on the board of directors of a company that Joe forced out a prosecutor, that linked to Joe forcing out a prosecutor. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The point is, Trump doesn't have a laptop. He doesn't have a laptop with incriminating evidence, okay? That's the whole point. Just draw a T-chart, okay? What did Trump do allegedly wrong? What did Biden do wrong? Okay, Trump phone conversation, impeachment. Trump speech in January, impeachment. Okay. Joe and Hunter, financial transactions deemed very shady and corrupt by the financial institutions, banks, 150 of them to the tune of tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars. A laptop full of incriminating data and evidence and emails asking for influence, asking for help. You have classified data that might have been repackaged or summarized by Hunter. So just draw a T-chart, okay? You can look like, what did Trump do wrong? What did Hunter and Joe? What is the evidence? There's zero evidence for Trump in any of the allegations. So you have a situation where they said Trump was an operative of the Kremlin. Well, there was never any evidence. He was never indicted on that, and the Mueller probe found nothing. Then they said he pressured people in Georgia. They might indict him, but that's only because they're so invested in proving he's trying to show he's a criminal. They don't have any evidence. Tax issues, all of that stuff. It's Hunter and Joe that have the financial transactions, the emails, the money flow, and the reporting from the New York Post and Daily Mail. Okay, so the reporting, ladies and gentlemen, shows serious felonies. Okay, serious felonies. The reporting alone from the New York Post shows serious felonies. You can then impeach. Here's an article from Axios: GOP's impeachment zeal. And Republicans have filed 14 impeachment resolutions. Marjorie Taylor Greene drafts articles of impeachment. This is months back, but they're with the IRS and with the IRS and the Central Intelligence official coming out and saying that the Hunter story, the laptop story, was an attempt at covering up a crime. Then you have the impetus, the beginning of impeachment. The impeachment will take place, and it'll be very important. Yeah, he's not going to be removed. I get it. I understand, but neither was Trump. They impeached Trump twice, and they're so proud. Oh, it's a twice impeached president. Well, Biden will be at least a one-time impeached. They could probably impeach him twice for a number of things. The Doha Agreement called for a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal. Okay? So you have articles of impeachment being drafted right now. The issue is the hilarious spin. You're going to get an attempt by media saying, well, this is a phony impeachment. They're just doing it for politics, whereas we did it for the good of the country. And it's going to be the same type of nonsense. Anything that they experience in terms of anything that they cover up in terms of criminality that deserves impeachment, like, for example, Hunter's laptop, the New York Post shows shows a litany of serious felonies. Trump didn't commit a felony. He's never committed a felony. Hunter and Joe have through that reporting. It's pretty obvious. How can you use your influence on the company's behalf is one example of an email. 10% to Joe Biden is another example. And the repackaging of classified data from Hunter, according to Ted Cruz and Chuck Grassley. Okay? Trump doesn't have anything like that. With Trump, they say, oh, he tried to overturn democracy. He tried to foment criminality through his speech in January. It's like, none of these things, these are all apoplectic allegations infused with wonderful, morally superior liberal sensibilities. There's nothing. They had to fabricate an indictment. They were so desperate to fabricate an indictment in New York that even liberal publications are viewing this to be like a complete embarrassment. So you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, you have others already drafting articles of impeachment. This is happening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's happening this year, and it's very important. You might say, well, nothing's going to happen. Yes, it is very important because you now have an official congressional record of Biden's crimes, which are plentiful according to the New York Post. Okay? Receiving gifts, forcing out a prosecutor. There's nothing that Trump did that is tied to any of the allegations. Having a different foreign policy going into the presidency is exactly why you vote for a different president. They said, oh, he's doing the Kremlin's bidding. This is all like your opinion. They've never proved, nor did they have any evidence that Trump was working on behalf of another country because he had a different foreign policy than President Obama, who campaigned on a similar foreign policy as Trump in 2012 and 2008. President Obama stated the 80s want their foreign policy back to Romney. The hawks against Russia were McCain and Romney. And nobody can really explain. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989. So why we've recreated the Cold War, nobody can really explain why that took place, other than, well, Democrats lost to Trump, so they needed a scapegoat. Okay, and you can say, well, they invaded that country, yeah, under Biden's watch. Same with inflation. We have all these terrible things taking place under Biden's watch. Well, do you think maybe it's his policies, maybe it's his lack of leadership, lack of any vision? I mean, objectively, again, just draw a simple T-chart. Life under Trump, life under Biden. People, this is a mentality, oh, I can't vote for Trump. He's too polarizing. He's only polarizing because media ignores when Biden says, you are not who you are if you don't vote for me, to Charlemagne the God. And then, oh my God, sensationalizes everything Trump says. That's where the polarization comes from. Okay, it's not so much that, like, yeah, is Trump crude at times? Sure, but he is at least honest with who he is. Trump got a greater percentage of the non-white vote his second time in 2020 than he did in 2016. So the media failed. But again, this is a matter of, if Georgia and Arizona don't back Trump, then we'll have Hillary Clinton I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I think she's looking at Biden, and there's nothing stopping her. She could become president if the Georgia and Arizona Republican parties decide not to back Trump and would rather have her, which is, by the way, not an outlandish idea. It's a sad and, it's something that shouldn't happen in the country, but you see what's taking place. Georgia and Arizona Republican parties would rather have a Democrat in office. And let's just say they're never Trumpers who just don't want Trump. and they'd rather have inflation and 90 seconds to midnight and all the things we have now. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Impeachment's taking place. It'll be before 24. Give me your thoughts. Thanks so very much.